and welcome to Trey Talks, where we delve into the stories of the individuals that are having and making a profound impact in their community. Today, we are so fortunate to be joined by Danny Asbery, who is the president and founder of Solel International, along with many extraordinary events and programs that he has done, not only throughout the city of Houston, but throughout the world. Danny, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
It's such a pleasure, always.
Thank you.
Always. So for those who don't know, could you sort of tell us the background about who you are and how you came to Houston?
Well, initially I was born in Houston,
Mhm.
and I was in the military for
Mhm.
about 7 years. And then fast forward, I came back home to create a nonprofit called Solel, Solel International.
Uh-huh.
We can be found at solelint.org.
Yes.
And we are an arts and cultural organization that works on preserving uh, community through arts and culture. We consider ourselves the VA of artists.
Hmm.
So sort of like the Veterans Affairs,
Yeah, yes. So you handle the Solel then is open for not just allowing performance, but you help artists sort of get benefits and things of that
benefits,
nature.
healthcare,
Mhm.
job training, opportunities,
That's
things like that.
wonderful. You know, it's interesting as a global citizen. So you're from Houston,
Mm.
but Houstonians always have to claim a neighborhood. So where in Houston are you from?
I'm from Northwood Manor. I'm from that North Forest ISD, before they took it away.
Yeah,
But I'm from the North Forest area, from
that's great.
Homestead,
Yeah.
close by big city. And but I considered myself even then across neighborhood child
Yeah, yeah.
because I would go from the North Side to Third Ward
Mhm.
to hone my art skills, and then I would go even to the Art Institute, which is
Yeah,
in the Southwest,
yeah,
and I would go there as a kid as well. I had little scholarships and little
yeah,
contests I would win, and
yeah,
it would just bring me to these places. I ran track for Forest Brook High School when it
yeah,
was a high school.
yeah.
But even from there, I was able to travel the United States. So
Wow.
traveling and being outside of the city was a norm
Mhm.
for me as a kid.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to take those experiences and introduce culture to people here in their own backyard.
Yeah. So when you decided to build a Solel, w- why did not just as an artist, as an individual, but you built a space for others?
Yes,
What was the turning point for you to say it's bigger than me?
it's been bigger than me at the inception.
Mm,
So when your initial intent
mm,
is about it being bigger than you,
mm-hmm,
then the manifestation of the intent
mm.
will always be bigger than you.
Wow.
And so people who have come into our space, they have been able to advance,
Yeah.
they have been able to improve and be the best forms of them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we've had several folks get job opportunities
Mm-hmm.
by using us as a reference.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'm just replicating what I went through as a kid.
Mm.
Miss Barnes from the Community Artist
Yeah.
Collective.
Yeah.
That was my godmother. She still is. I can call her now. She'd be like,
Yeah.
"Boy, what you want?" And but she taught me a lot. I remember I always bring it up, and she always laughs every time I bring it up. But I remember I was a kid and I was working on Photoshop, and I'm telling my age because
Yep, still
it was
got
like
it good.
Photoshop 2.0, whatever it was. But I ended up doing something, and I crashed the entire computer, and I just knew that I was gonna get it. And Miss Barnes came in there, and she looked at the computer, and she was like, well, it's okay.
Mm.
I said, no, but I messed it up. I messed up everything. And I was just having this moment. And she was like, nah. She said, you actually learned from
Wow.
this. And even to this day, my graphic design skills, I mean, even though I perform, I do all that.
Yes.
But my graphic design skills,
Fire.
off the hook, fire. You know, but it was just a lesson that I've learned, and also to value others, their things, their material, the things that they've worked hard for. You're letting me use it. I have to take care of it, right? And so that was a very, very good lesson that I've learned, because I didn't want to disappoint anyone that I cared about. And I saw her sacrifice day in and day out, and I asked myself, I was like, is this something I want for me? My first initial thought was no, but I found myself doing it. And then, you know, even when I was forming the business, I was like, Danny, are you serious? Like, you've seen people go through this. You've seen Ms. Barnes go through things. You've seen Rick Lowe go through things. You've seen Delora Parker go through things.
Yeah.
And are you sure you want to be in line doing this? And I was like, you know, my lower self talking to my higher self. And I'm like, nah, yes, I want to do it. I have to. I'm called to do it. This is me. My character is to help. My character is to heal. And sometimes during the journey of helping and healing, you have to understand that there's some things that you do have to let transpire. Some things that you do have to see, and some hurts you do have to feel. But all that brings about the successes, you know, as well. So, you know, life is a classroom, and we're artists. And the definition of art is imitating life. And there's nothing bigger than life, you know.
Yeah.
And so I'm just here for the ride, and I'm just hoping that everyone else gets on the ride, you know, and see how good the wind feels when you have the windows down.
Right.
You
It's
know?
a beautiful feeling.
It's a good feeling. It's a nice view. You know, the speed is just right.
Right.
You know.
And at your heart, what do you think is the single most thing that's like most important to you? Because you are a creative with lots of gifts. So is it the music? Is it the talent? Is it the people? Like, what is the thing that really at your heart is most important?
It is the overall ability to communicate. You know, artists feel at their worst when they don't communicate effectively. I wanted you to know what this art piece was. I wanted you to know what my magazine was about. I wanted you to know what my song was about. I wanted you to know, you know, because artists, whether we like it or not, our talent is not for us. Our talent is for the world. We're creating a thing for the world to see. Well, if we're the only ones seeing it, it's not fun. But when you're seeing it, and when you get the message, and then that message bursts things into other people, right?
Yeah.
I mean, all of the prophets, they're artists. Think about it. They're imitating life. They're telling you what it's about. They're decoding it for you. And they want you to see a certain picture.
Right.
You get the picture in your mind, and then you can duplicate that picture to other people.
Yeah.
Right? And then collectively, you can be that one picture, if not more.
How do you balance them all? Did you ever feel like I need to pick a talent, or are they all expressions for you?
They're all expressions, and there was a time where I thought that I'd had to pick one over the other. But, you know, with each day, you know, you get to pick a part. You know, hey, today I want to do this part. Tomorrow I want to do this part. The next day I want to do this part. Or if, you know, let's say if I'm in a production and I'm dancing.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll just focus on that. I'll draw a little bit every now and again, but I'll focus on that. And then when that's done, then I'll go to the next focus, which would be comic books. Right. And then the next situation where I would, you know, be with the Earth Stars band, you know, and I'll be singing and whatever I'm doing. But it's a balancing act. It is. But at the same time, you have to love it. You have to enjoy it and what you do. But you also have to be, and I know every other artist is gonna hate this because I don't like it. But you're gonna have to get a calendar. You're gonna have to organize. Because even though we're using one side of our brain, we have to learn how to use the other side of our brain as well. Because that technicality, that organization, the math of things, we have to make sure that we engage, with that side of us as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sometimes us as artists, I know myself, I could be selfish when it comes to what I want to do with me.
Mm-hmm.
But there is the nature of things that will say, but Danny, you need order.
Mm-hmm.
So balance out that chaos with order.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. That's a real because in many ways when people are crafting their art, like you want paint everywhere.
You want it everywhere, but you don't want to clean it up.
Right.
But you don't want to clean it up. And it takes organization to clean it up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But and while you and this is what I tell myself, and it helps other artists too. While we don't like organizing things in such a way to where it's borderline OCD,
Right.
but when you clean up everything, especially in that process of cleaning up things, and your mind is starting to not necessarily unravel, but it's starting to wrap around
Mm-hmm.
certain concepts and certain ideas. When you're done with that, you're going to see that you have a shelf full of things that are in order.
Yeah.
Your paints are over here, your brushes are over there, your iPad is over here, this and that is over there. And you can step aside and you can look and say, oh, wow, I'm organized.
Which is a beautiful feeling as a
Yeah.
creative, because it actually opens you up for the next phase.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you're living in the chaos of the last creation, you can't go forward because your paintbrushes are all stuck together. There's no way of knowing. There is something beautiful about being able to look at order as a
Yeah.
creative. Even if you're just going to paint all over it again, it's still a nice feeling.
Yeah.
So as a creative and a business owner and a comic book producer who also engages in all types of other productions, how do you stay motivated? How do you not burn out? Like, what keeps you that balance? Or, you know what I mean? And how do you reset?
I got you. I'm a whole Taurus. So we have our days where we're lazy and we don't do nothing, and I really wanted to not be the typical Taurus, but I'm like, nah, but you know what? That's helpful because if I can power down for 2 or 3 days, I know really like I can go hard for 6 months. All I would need is about a week worth of laziness.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'm back on a horse. Like
Yeah.
I'm gone,
Yeah.
So I have to power down. I have to chill out. I have to get me some earth. I have to get me some rain. I have to get me some dirt. I have to get me, I have to get these things. I have to be in my element.
Yeah.
I have to exist. I have to have fun.
Yeah.
I like the pleasures of life when it comes to dance and seeing people smile and seeing the world through a child's eyes, in a sense, because I consider myself a child of the Most High, right? So if I am that, let me look at the world through a child's eyes for a second and feel what they feel, right? And then once I get that empathy going, right, and I'm looking and I'm understanding that each man and woman, they are the thought of the Creator manifested in the flesh, then I'm like, wow, okay, I'm entertaining these awesome deities, even though they don't know they are. But it's my own personal X-Men story, right? And with that, I feel rejuvenated. I feel like I've accomplished something. I feel like I've given something to the world. Because at the end of the day, what are us artists here for? We're here for communication. We're here to decode, things in life. We're here to be the scribe. We're here to be the people that puts the picture to life for generations and generations and generations. Like the keys to learning your past and even the keys to your future are in the way certain things are depicted.
So what's on the horizon? Well, one, how can people support, learn, join, add, get health benefits? I know through Solel.
Through Solel. So through Solel International, which is the nonprofit, they can go to solelint.org, solelint.org, and they can sign up for health care benefits. They can get dental, vision, zero copays on medications, Eastern medicine, Western medicine, all sorts of things, because we understand that artists have a um, short lifespan because they're always around chemicals, they're always around, hazardous material,
Yeah.
trying to make the world look better.
Right.
So,
It hit me home. I had a cough.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it is not just pleasure. I mean, it is a real commitment.
it
I
is.
think the first time I noticed that, I was in high school and we had a printmaking teacher,
Mm.
and she had incredible artist, right? So we're doing printmaking and dipping into acid, the plates and the whole
Yeah.
thing. And she literally said, "Oh, I can't come by the color indigo," because she had used it so much that she developed an allergic reaction to it.
Mm,
And I just remember
yeah.
thinking, like, that's a
Yeah.
lot of usage,
It
right?
is.
That's a lot of
Mm,
ingesting of this color and this chemical,
mm,
but still loves it, right? She's teaching it.
mhm.
And I said, "Am I that committed? Am I that committed?"
Right.
And as artists, you wake up one day and realize, yes, I am that committed, right? Not that you're going to sacrifice on purpose, but you're not running away from it either.
Yeah.
You're opting in to your own job, loves and hazards, right? Like, you
Mhm.
stay knowledgeable so you can grow with it, but the art deserves that type of sacrifice and
Yes.
dedication. So
Yes.
it's wonderful that you're built a space that understands that level of being compelled.
Yeah, you have to get the whole human.
Hmm.
Just like these hospitals are today, they only want to work on parts of you.
Hmm.
But to work on us as a whole, we have to
Yeah.
cover the whole human.
Hmm.
So we cover your health care,
Hmm.
right? But then we also help with job creation, job placement, or we'll put you with coalitions
Hmm.
of people that do that,
Hmm.
right? But then you also have after school
Yeah.
classes, right?
Hmm.
So we have the after school classes with certain school districts.
Hmm.
But then we also have festivals
Mm.
and galas
Yeah.
and the fun stuff,
Right.
right? Gallery showings,
Yeah.
all of that,
Yeah.
because we want you to fully engage and we want you to be you,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know? We want you to feel like you belong.
So how do people support the comic books? Like, what is that, and how do they find out about the events?
Okay, so how they can support the comic book, they can go to earthstaruniverse.com.
Hmm.
So with Solel, the
Yeah.
nonprofit,
Yeah.
they can go to solelint.org.
Hmm.
But with the comic book, which is a separate endeavor, you can go to earthstaruniverse.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And from a self-reflective point of view, I'm just curious, if you were to describe just yourself, right? If you
Mm.
were to say in one word or three words, what would that be?
Helpful, honest, true.
What's on the horizon?
Well, we're gonna do a lot with parties.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna bring DJ Menace out and
Mm.
some others. I think last time we had DJ Mio,
Mm.
Michael FG, who's also an artist as well. But we're gonna be having some parties. We're gonna have some Afro beats going. We're gonna have a lot of that going on because everybody knows I like a good shindig, right? But then also, we're going to have several features of businesses,
Okay.
Houston-based businesses that are in the area,
Yeah.
to where we can just keep, people
Yeah.
engaged with what's happening. You got a lot of young people
Yeah.
who are out here doing amazing things,
Yeah.
young and old,
Yeah.
but specifically young to middle-aged folks who are really there. They just
Yeah.
don't have the exposure,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Last time we had somebody speaking about family planning,
Right.
succession planning,
Right.
all of that. And our family is not discussing that.
Mm-mm. Because we're losing land. We're losing
We're
land.
giving it up.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
one thing to sell it, it's another thing for someone to steal it, but
Yeah.
it's a painful thing to just lose it,
Yeah.
right? To give it
Yeah.
away at a steal. What is the power of land to you, like sort of business wise and even personally?
Well, the power of land, especially here in America, uh, you have certain rights, right? People just can't trespass where you are.
Mm-hmm.
They can't just do anything they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But that land is also something that you can pass down to your family members,
Mm-hmm.
right? And let's just say if you do have a family member that needs help,
Mm-hmm.
you might not be able to depend on a nonprofit all the time. You may not be able to depend on everyone else to take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have land and you got a couple of houses on your land,
Mm-hmm.
they can stay in that house and
Mm-hmm.
get themselves together.
Yeah.
It's your family.
Yeah.
You could put a hotel on your land. You
Yeah.
could put something energy bearing on your land. Anything can happen.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever's on your land, you will be able to benefit off of it. You know.
And you have this unique ability to do archiving and future with the murals that you create.
Oh yeah.
So, augmented reality murals.
Oh yeah. We are the first to do augmented reality murals in Houston
Wow.
and in Galveston.
Wow.
And so we've activated the Juneteenth mural.
Yeah.
That was when Juneteenth was finally officially celebrated
Yeah.
as a holiday. We were
Yeah.
featured on ABC News.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sam Collins because he mentioned
Mm-hmm.
our name
Yeah.
on ABC News. And
Yeah.
I was like, what? And so it was very ecstatic. All the papers in Galveston, they wanted us to, make a statement. And it was pretty dope.
And it's impressive. So I was walking through Galveston and I looked and I said, that's got to be Danny. It is a massive
Right,
mural,
right.
like huge on the wall.
Yeah. Well, because I was, so what was surprising to me was that the Galveston Tourism Board were very astute on history. And they knew about Moors. They knew about my Moorish American ancestry. They knew about this. And they wanted to use me as a model to depict Estefanico the Moor
Oh, wow.
that discovered Galveston.
They really knew.
And I was like, do y'all know what this is going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, no, we know. But this is the history and we have to make it right.
Bravo.
So these were people of European descent
Mm-hmm.
coming up to me and telling me, yo, we know.
Mm-hmm.
And so this needs to happen.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, like Galveston Tourism Board, I will always have respect for them because of how they approached us, the fact that they employed us and gave us an opportunity to help other artists. And the augmented reality app was developed by Damian Johnson, who is currently serving in the Air Force, but he's a brother.
Yeah.
And it was the only app of its kind at the time, and we made history.
Yeah.
And I've invested in the app.
Yeah.
It was very. I was awestruck.
Yeah.
And then the first augmented reality mural in Houston was the one on Whole Foods right there on 610 in Yale in Independence Heights. So if anybody doesn't know, Independence Heights is it is the first city incorporated by African Americans in Texas. And then after that, then they became an annex to Houston. And we helped to cultivate and preserve that history on Whole Foods, and we were able to give opportunities to several of the artists that were there, and the mural is still there to this day.
Incredible.
Yeah, you can scan it with your app, with the Uncover Everything app, and you'll get a history about the app. And we were speaking, we had narrating the history, Charnel Brown, who played Kim on A Different World. Yeah, and so she works closely with Solel International as well.
Go ahead.
So I'm very proud,
Yeah. Well, I have a question. You have done history, and then the question becomes, when we look up, I mean, Juneteenth is our history on extraordinary levels.
Oh yeah.
And you've archived it, you've given it a new voice.
Yeah.
How do you want to be remembered? Like in another, whatever
Oh,
that looks like.
I want to be remembered as, wow, I never really got that question. I want to be remembered as a person who cared about his people. I want to be remembered as a person who helped their people break through, whatever that is, right? I wanted people to see what the talent, you know, what a gifted person can do for their people and for themselves. You know, I think Prince, I think Michael Jackson were great examples of that when it came to what they gave to the world as artists. I think, you know, even like Beyonce's from here. Look at what she's doing. Look at what Solange is doing. Look at what, Lizzo, Megan Thee Stallion, all these people. Who is that played? The one that was on.
She has a television show. Chandra, she produces the doctor show. I can't think.
Yeah.
We'll feed that.
We'll get on. Yeah. Jennifer Holliday is from here.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And what's the sister's name that she was on Waiting to Excel and she walked away?
Oh,
she's like,
she has the arms. She's fit. I can't think of her name.
Not Angela Bassett, but the other one. She walked away from Samuel Jackson, but
I don't know.
She walked away from the dude. She was like, I hope he's not watching me.
Oh yes.
Cheryl something.
And he was watching, and she kind of.
Yeah. But she's from here.
Wow.
She's from here.
Houston does produce a lot of talent.
A lot of people. Yolanda Adams. I mean.
Yeah. Global talent, legacy talent. Legacy talent. Like that the world has made plaques and certificates and honors and changed the whole industry.
Yeah. And we want to change the landscape a bit in Houston to where we want to show these people who went off to accomplish these amazing things. We want to let them know that we love them and we thank them for being examples, you know, for us. You know, I think Felicia Rashad is from here, Debbie Allen, you know, all of them.
So great jazz musicians. We have like real an array. Jason Moran is from here. Reginald Quinterly. Like there's a lot of talent. We're gonna have to we might have to do a class reunion.
We have
just bring the whole Houston
Everybody
home.
Where Beyonce at? You coming? Hey, Beyonce. Find your way back.
That's great.
Right. You know?
Oh, Danny, it is a pleasure. I want to thank you so very much for joining us on Trey Talks. We will have you back, and ideally, we'd like to be a guest on your upcoming shows. And sort of like I said, we are here for it.
Oh, yeah.
And so are our viewers and friends and those who call Trey family. We're all here to elevate, support in any way possible.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll be coming back.
Well, that concludes another issue of Trey Talks. I am your host, Stephanie Coleman, joined with the great Danny Asbery, whose resume and reputation transcends vocabulary and words. We're so honored for him. We're so honored for you joining us and trusting us with your time. Until we see you again, enjoy the moments.